Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Ben No, and joining me is Sen Duong. Hey Sen, so happy Halloween. We're doing this on the 30th, so tomorrow is Halloween.
Halloween
So
Eve.
Halloween Eve, and surprisingly, there's really no horror movies releasing this week.
Well,
Uh,
because this Friday is gonna be past Halloween.
that's true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
so
So
they released Jigsaw.
that's right. That's right. And as we said last podcast, that week, the previous week was really just the calm before the storm, and that is when
Mhm.
the big
And it's
release.
not Geostorm.
It's not. No, no, no. That is a disaster level movie, by the way.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, yeah,
We'll,
yeah,
we'll we'll talk more about that later on, but we're talking
yeah,
about the third Thor movie, Ragnarok, that's coming out this
yeah.
Friday. And since there's like a huge movie that's coming after these movies, we expect the box office to dip a little bit, and it did. And just based on our projections, we were kind of high on some of the movies, but kind of
Mhm.
close on some of them.
Yeah. I mean, we were already kind of pessimistic, but the
Mhm.
results are even worse. And I think it
That
led to one of the worst. I think one of the worst weekends
No, I think I've seen worse.
in
I
a
think I've
while.
seen worse. Where I think the top movie
Uh,
was, I don't know, I think what was it, 10 or so million?
oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes yeah, less than that.
Yeah. It's so this is not the worst.
Yeah, it's not the worst, but I think it's like one of the worst like pre-Halloween weekends,
Sure. And
something like that.
yeah, okay. How about we jump right in and see how worse the box office is.
Okay.
You want to bring us in on the number one?
Yeah, as we mentioned, number one is Jigsaw, the I don't know what eighth
Eighth,
film
yes.
in the Saw franchise.
Hmm.
It did 16.3 million over the weekend. I mean, if you compare it to the rest of the films in the franchise, it's kind of disappointing. But when you look at the budget, it's only a $10 million movie. They're going to make a buttload of profit from this. Especially when it hits home video too. So 16.3 million, not bad, profitable, but disappointing compared to the rest of the figures from the films in the franchise.
Oh, yes, and I like to remind everyone that Jigsaw is not part of the Fast and Furious franchise, right? This is a horror movie and it's already in its eighth movie. So to
Yeah,
for it to open to around 16 million, I think it's pretty good.
yeah, not bad. What number were we putting it
Oh yeah,
on
so
this?
you were right there. You said it would open up between 10 to 15 million. I went a bit higher with
Mhm.
20 to 25.
Uh,
So it's kind of there. If we
yeah, it's
take some
kind of
liberties
in
with
the
it.
middle of
Yeah.
the two figures. Like we said, there's I mean, torture porn, I guess, isn't going anywhere, but it also isn't making the kind of numbers that films in this genre used to make.
That is true, but like I said, the reason why I gave this movie a higher opening,
Mhm.
I felt that I said these type of things goes in cycles, and I think
Right.
torture porn might be making a comeback, right? So
Yeah,
with the
but
16 million opening,
no, no. They're gonna continue cranking out PG-13 horror films because those kind of films can actually be more mainstream. They can gross over 100 million.
Yeah, true.
Uh,
Mainstream
the,
meaning, yeah, just as an explanation, mainstream meaning that, PG-13, more audience, more potential audience where, when you put an R rating on it and you only limit those, 18 and above, you can
yeah,
really
well,
bring
the
the family to
problem.
watch, for example.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the R-rated films is they're really targeted at teenagers. It's kind of odd that they're targeted at teenagers, but they're rated R. So someone has to take them in to watch them.
Mhm.
And more mainstream meaning like these horror films, when they do 30 to 50 million, they're considered a solid hit. The PG-13 horror films of late can gross over 100 million. like like all those James Wan films like The Conjuring or Get Out.
Right. And the most important thing is the horror movies are really cheap to make.
Yeah. Yep.
And when you get up in the 100 million range, that's a lot of money coming back.
Yeah. Right. So Jigsaw kind of, it won't bring back a torture porn, but it's still, a solid, profitable opening for Lionsgate.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a new intrigue. I mean, I believe the last movie was 7 years ago, with Saw 3D, and they're trying to Lionsgate, of course, is trying to rejuvenate the franchise with Jigsaw. I'm not familiar with this movie. I'm not sure if it's him coming back, or it's kind of like a reboot of the series or not. So obviously they're gonna make more, like you say, Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Sequels.
Yeah. They can make these films cheap, and as long as they make a little bit of profit, they'll continue milking them.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to number 2, which is Tyler Perry's Boo 2 and Madea Halloween, another horror movie, surprisingly, right?
Made by Lionsgate.
Again by Lionsgate, amazing. Like 2 top movies in the same weekend. Pulled in about 10 million in the second weekend. A drop off is about 53%. And domestic gross right now is 35.5 million on a budget of 25 million.
Yeah, so solid, but it's not going to do nearly as good as the previous one. I think according to Box Office Mojo, the previous one by this time has already grossed 50 million. So this one will probably tap out at around 50, 55 million, which is still pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, I think Tyler Perry's and his movies. So I think most of them make money. Yeah, because the budget's so low, and I guess he's very focused on his target audience. For some reason, Tyler Perry's and his various personas, there's an audience for that.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh, and speaking of Geostorm, number 3. This movie cost 120 million, and with advertising and all, it probably cost Warner Brothers more. It pulled in 5.7 million over the weekend. A drop off is huge, about nearly 59% drop off from this previous weekend, and domestic gross is only about 23.6 million, and still the budget is 120 million. There's a long gap between that and this domestic gross.
Yeah. There's nothing good you can say about it domestically, but worldwide, overseas, it's already grossed 113 million. I mean, it's still far from breaking even, and they'll probably end up losing a lot of money. But there's still a ways to go overseas, so we'll see, if it can make up for how bad it's doing domestically.
Oh yeah, and what we want to point out again, this movie is directed by Dean Devlin. Him and Roland Emmerich pretty much created or made popular the disaster movie genre.
Yeah.
And this is his this is Dean Devlin's directorial debut. And and like you say, he probably came late. Genre.
Right. Like you said, when they bring some genre in space, it's game over.
Yeah, it's kind of like the final frontier, nowhere else to go. So let's do this in space. All right, let's move on to number 4. Is we can see the pattern here with horror movies. Happy Death Day, the kind of like Groundhog's Day for horror movie. Putting in about 5 million over the weekend. Drop off is about 46% from his previous weekend. Domestic gross is about 48 million so far. And since this movie is from Jason Blum, the budget is gonna be low. It's about 5 million.
Right, so it's already grossed domestically at 10 times its budget, and worldwide is at 69 million. So I guess they can continue to do Groundhog's Day for other genres too, although it didn't work out too well for teen romance.
No, but look, the budget, you keep the budget under 10 million, you're gonna make money somehow from this. And that's why the horror movies are here to stay. You bring the budget up, you're gonna be in trouble, but if you keep the budget low, you're gonna make money somehow.
Right. Number 5,
Yeah.
Blade Runner 2049. Put in about 4 million over the weekend, and after 4 weeks of release, it has over a million. At a budget of 150 million. It opened in China, I guess either last week or this weekend, and it didn't do too well. So overseas, the overseas figure is 223 million. It needs to get to 300 million to kind of break even theatrically, because the budget is 150 million, and because it it didn't do too well in China, so hopes of it breaking even theatrically is kind of low right now. Japan to go, but and it might do well in Japan because of all those Sony advertisements. Sony is pretty ubiquitous in the film.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and very disappointing that this movie, after so many years, finally got a sequel. It failed to break 100 million here. It's gonna be what in the 90s, but not.
Yeah, and it's well reviewed too. It's 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and especially for reboots, this is what we well regarded. It seemed to have met the expectations, or if not exceeded the expectations of people who loved the first one. But the problem is, it just didn't reach much beyond that fan base.
Yeah, you would expect that it would do, even though it might not do well here, you would expect it to do well overseas. These big special effects movie, but it didn't either.
Well, the problem is, like we mentioned last week, it's not an action movie. A very slow indie movie with with sci-fi elements. It's not in with a budget this high. You would people probably expecting lots of sequences, battle sequences and stuff like that. But there's not much of that. A lot of it is environment and about concepts. So not something that easily appeal to like even a foreign fan base. And it's one of those films that's probably hard to translate because a lot of it is in what they say and the concepts rather than sitting there and watching stuff blow up.
Oh, that's right. Or romance. Remember the Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt movie, Passengers?
Yeah,
I think that one did well overseas. Because it's a romance.
But I think at least that one, at least that one also had elements where at the end there's you can see stuff blowing up and you can see tension and suspense. In the traditional action movie mode.
Yeah, sure, too. But what I'm saying is that but the stuff in between is something that people can relate to. It's a romance movie,
Yeah. Well, Passenger had the romance and the action.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sure.
Whereas this one doesn't have. I mean, it does have romance, but it's kind of like horror. The romance between a hologram and essentially an android, and it's kind of. And there's not much action in it.
Yeah, so there it goes. As you say, it's too contemplative of a movie for the I wouldn't say general audience because it's pretty general already, but it then isn't the blockbuster that we expect this movie to be.
Yeah, especially when you see a budget at 150 million. The word meditative is used a lot in reviews for this film, and when you pour in 150 million, people usually don't put that kind of money into a meditative film.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Arrival is kind of a meditative film, but I guess that has better concepts. I guess.
Yeah.
Easier to understand, easier to digest.
And the Arrival wasn't much. It's a little bit bigger than this, but it's not like a massive. I think it cracked 100 million domestically, barely, and worldwide. Let me see, worldwide it did 204 million. If you compare it to Arrival, this one is doing a little bit better, worldwide.
And because of the budget is low,
so again,
budget is only 47 million, so it did a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. So that with that one, when you make this one is more. I mean, the Arrival was suspenseful, and I wouldn't say use the word meditative on the Arrival. And this one explores a lot of concepts, but it kind of lets you linger on images and linger on thoughts and linger on concepts. And your general audience don't want to sit there and just meditate.
Oh, right. With a name Blade Runner in the title, there's
Yeah,
not
in
a
the
lot of
title.
running, not a lot of action going on.
Yeah, there's not a lot of running. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so
There's a lot of slow meditative walks.
right. I can see them exploring this concept in TV. So maybe that's where they'll go.
Or in books.
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, let's move on to number 6. One of the new releases from last weekend. Thank you for your service. It pulled in about 3.7 million over the weekend, and I believe we had the opening higher. I said 5 to 10, and you said 5, which is not that far off.
Right there.
Yeah.
And it's one of these. It's pretty well reviewed too. 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. Especially a film about in terms of the premise is pretty generic.
Pretty much already done. Service members coming home dealing with PTSD, adjusting to life back home, etc. So
Yeah. And for them to make a movie that actually stood out on a critical level is impressive.
I'm saying, didn't I say last week that I believe this movie's gonna be well reviewed or well told?
Yeah. Well reviewed. So you're right. Well reviewed, but not capturing and
no one cared.
Yeah.
So and I thought that this movie might be, I said 5 to 10 because like if a certain portion of the demographic turnout, it could higher because that this there is this more conservative groups that kind of like these movies, but I guess they stay home.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to number 7. Only the Brave, a movie that's based on a true story about a group of firefighters. It pulled in about 3.5 million over the weekend. In the second weekend, domestic gross is about 11.9 million. Budget's 38. So,
yeah. Speaking of films that are well reviewed but disappointing domestically, commercially. Only the Brave, another kind of, well, I wouldn't say generic, it's a movie about firefighters, based on, I guess another movie, well, kind of based on current events, based on a true story. Really well reviewed, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it couldn't find an audience.
Yeah, it's one of these, I guess, true uplifting stories that just people just don't want to care about. Firefighters. And the thing is, like we've seen these movies that's based on true stories, like heroism, etc. Like what's it, 33, and about the mining incident.
Yeah.
And a couple others that's kind of like based on these events, and just people just don't care.
Yeah. There's a Deep Horizon, Deep Water.
That one had Mark Wahlberg as well. Yeah.
And that one, even Mark Wahlberg can get people excited about these current event films. But once in a while you have Sully that breaks the trend, makes Hollywood continue to crank these out. So we're hoping for Sully.
Yeah. Okay, and moving along to number 8 is The Foreigner, the Jackie Chan, Pierce Brosnan thriller. It pulled in about 3.2 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is about 28.8 million. Budget's 35. It's not doing that well here.
Well, it'll get to 35 million. This is even a little bit higher than what people were expecting.
Well, as you said, this movie has done very well overseas. The worldwide figure is 117 million, and you said that anything that they make here is just gravy. They're not expecting this movie to do that well, and I didn't have high hopes for this movie either because Jackie Chan, outside of his the bigger ones like the Rush Hour
films, the Karate Kid.
the Shanghai movies,
Yeah.
they usually don't do that well, right? And as you said,
Well, he
this
hasn't made much outside of those films.
yeah, true. But as you
Yeah.
say, this movie didn't target the the African
Yeah.
American
Right.
audience,
Right. Right.
so let's take it slower.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is not bad though. It's still, it's by STX. Their films usually make around this range, and it was a little bit better than what most people in the industry were expecting. It looks like you'll eventually get to around 35, if not a little bit domestically.
Sure. But if you look beyond the surface, this movie stars Pierce Brosnan, right? Jackie Chan, Brosnan was one of the bigger high-profile actors a couple of years ago, with being James Bond.
Yeah, but he's
and
no longer a huge, draw anymore.
right. And then there's
Yeah,
Jackie Chan, all right?
yeah,
You could say that he doesn't have that big of a presence here either.
yeah. But it's kind of like one of those, they would call it modest hits.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it did better than expected. People weren't expecting this to do like 100 million, like Rush Hour, even the Shanghai Noon movies, which did like around, in the 50, 60 million range.
Oh, right. And this
So,
movie really reminds me of these direct-to-video titles where they star these over-the-hill actors.
this one, I think Steven Seagal did make a movie called The Foreigner.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right.
It is a solid film though, and even on Rotten Tomatoes, it crept up to the 60% range. Yeah,
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway, I mean, not a blockbuster, but I think just kind of solid for them.
Yeah,
For STX.
but it shows the drawing power of Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan, which is not that high.
Yeah, not that high right now.
All right, let's move on to number 9, Suburbicon, the Matt Damon.
Speaking of
George
drawing
Clooney
power
movie. Yeah.
Speaking of drawing power of stars that are not that high anymore.
No.
Right.
I think this is
Suburbicon.
separate. I think this is separate. Okay. Suburbicon, the Matt Damon, George Clooney, the Ethan Coen brothers collaboration. This is one of these movies where it's too quirky, too out there. As what the Coen brothers other movies like Hail Caesar and other ones. They threw a lot of stars in it. They had fun doing it, but I guess for people watching, just not that much fun for them. It pulled in. Only open to 2.8 million.
Yeah, I mean, Suburbicon is really a Coen brothers movie, but directed by George Clooney, and people were, some of the reviews were saying, well, this the Coen brothers should have directed it because it shows you what these kind of films, how difficult it is to make these kind of films right, or do these kind of films well. And George Clooney tried his hand at it and failed miserably.
George Clooney tried to make an a Coen brothers movie.
Coen brothers film, and failed miserably, 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. And even Matt Damon can't open this movie, 2.8 million. Wow, that's probably one of his lower opening of a wide release film.
And our projections, you said 8 million because of Matt Damon's face on the poster.
Right.
And I said 5 million because, like I said, it would be similar to other movies like Hail Caesar. And it went even lower.
Went even lower. You were closer though.
Yeah. And, they threw stars at this movie. Matt Damon, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Julianne Moore, on and on.
Yep.
So, it goes to show that you throw stars at it, it might, doesn't work sometimes.
Nope.
All right. Let's round out the top 10 with It, the horror movie. It's already in its 8th week, pulled in about 2.5 million. Domestic gross right now is 323 million. And worldwide is, nice figure. 666. There you go.
Yeah.
You can make this stuff up, Sam.
Yeah.
666 million. 0.6, so made a lot of money for Warner Brothers, but just only 35.
Yeah, right.
Okay. That's it for the top 10. How about we move on to the new releases this weekend?
Mhm.
Or this week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have one opening on Wednesday,
Ah,
and that is a Bad Mom's Christmas. That's opening at this time. And then there
okay.
is, of course, Thor Ragnarok. That's opening on Friday.
So good counter programming.
Sure. Let's start off with Bad
Uh,
Mom's Christmas. This one stars
okay.
Mila Kunis, Christian Bell. It's the sequel to Bad Moms
Uh,
that was released
yeah.
in that's last year.
Yeah. That was a surprise hit.
Yeah,
2 million.
I believe Bad Mom opened to 23 million and went on to make 113 million domestic.
Hmm. And
And
of course, when you have a surprise, and it's by STX. Speaking
yeah,
of,
yep.
and when you have a hit of that size, their films they can see, if their films make 30 to 40 million, they're pretty, they consider that pretty good. And Bad Moms did like 113. So of course they're gonna crank out sequels.
All right. And Bad Moms or Bad Moms Christmas is along the line of women behaving badly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's kind of like, it's very similar to Daddy's Home 2 is about the dads coming into the picture, and Bad Moms Christmas is about the moms coming into the picture and how they're dealing with it. So
Okay.
kind of yeah.
But it seems like with Bad Moms it's kind of well received, but we don't know how the sequel will
It was
be.
Bad Moms commercially, but I don't think it was well received critically though.
Well, it made over 100 million.
Yeah, commercially it is well received. It was a surprise hit, so people that audience that they targeted definitely liked it.
Mhm.
But I don't think it was well reviewed though. Yeah,
Yes.
well, it did okay, 58%, which is kind of, for these kind of generic comedies, 58% is not bad. So yeah, not bad. So we have Bad Mom's Christmas. But I don't know. I guess, hey, a lot of people turn out for the first film. I'm not sure if it's one of these films that people want to see twice. It's like it seems more like a one-off.
Yeah, it's kind of like Bad Santa, right? With Billy Bob
Yeah.
Thornton.
Well, except this one, they didn't have a like 10 or 20-year gap between films.
Yeah, okay, yeah, but I'm saying, the Christmas theme, them behaving badly,
Yeah,
booze,
right,
partying,
yeah.
etc.
So this one might not do as badly as Bad Santa 2, but it seems like more of a one-off type of film.
Sure, but it's also we see this trend of female empowerment movie doing well.
I'm not sure that
letting
have they.
them letting yeah.
Yeah, well, they're kind of on and off though. Like you
No,
see.
I mean not big blockbusters, but just doing well. Decent. Modest hits.
Yeah, but still they were kind of mixed though. You see a modest hit here, and then another one tank, and then a modest hit,
Yeah, sure, but
and then Bad
can't.
Moms.
I know, but you can't bat 100%, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to see some duds along the way, but I think in general they do pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is like a sequel to a well-received film, I think.
All right. So what figure are you putting it at?
And well, it's opening on a Wednesday, right? Are we going 3 days or 5 days?
Yeah, well, good. Sure. Let's go 3 days and 5 days.
Okay, so Halloween is gonna be kind of is on a Tuesday, right? So there's gonna be some parties. Yeah, I'm not sure people will turn out for this. So okay, so let's go. 3 days is 15 million. I think 5 days is gonna be maybe 20 to 25.
Yeah, the first film had a really high multiple, more than 4x, which means it was pretty leggy. Kind of hard to say. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Yeah, 5 days, 24, 3 days, probably 15. I'm with you there.
Okay, all right. So we're in agreement. So I think it's gonna be similar to the first movie. As we said, it is counter programming to our next movie.
Yeah, which is Thor Ragnarok.
Let me do it. Yeah. Okay, that's the soundtrack on in the movie.
Yeah, so it already has 111 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and the tomato meter is at 95%. which makes it one of the best reviewed comic book movies, especially for the third film in the franchise. This is like the best of this franchise yet. I mean, on a whole different level. I think the previous two films were like in the 70% range in terms of reviews. Most of the reviews said, "Hey, this is one of the more fun Marvel movies, action-packed fun."
Yeah, and you notice that unlike the previous two movies, right? This is more of a guy's movie. Everyone's kicking butt at some point.
Right. So in the Thor franchise, the first one opened to 66 million and went on to do 181 million. The second one opened to 86 million and went on to do 206 million domestically. So there's an upward trend, and it looks like this one will continue that trend. I think the earlier projections are based on tracking is 110 million. So I'm not going to disagree with that. That seems about right.
Yeah.
I might even go a little bit higher. I might even go like 115 or 120.
Okay, so 115 to 120. Sure, 115, 120 for you. I think I'm gonna go with like maybe 100.
Mm-hmm. All right, you're gonna go a little bit lower.
I'm gonna go a bit lower. I think I'm probably gonna be wrong, right? I think there's like huge enthusiasm for this movie, and like I said, it's different from the previous two movies where I don't think they care about the romance angle at all. They just throw all action out there. They have the Hulk, which is kind of like a different, I guess the comic relief here, and this is the movie where kind of Thor comes into his own. I feel that he becomes a sympathetic character.
Right.
So,
although I think this is one of those matchups that people have always liked. I mean, I've seen one on Netflix. It was basically Hulk versus, and it was Hulk versus Thor, and then Hulk versus Wolverine. And so this is one of those.
And it's going to be disappointing, right? That the battle is just like, made a thing here, and then they team up,
Yeah. Well, but we already know that because we've seen it in the Avengers, and eventually they're going to team up because they showed it in the trailer, so there's no surprise here.
Right. But I'd like to point out
the only surprise is how well received it is.
Right, and because I'd like to point out Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
You know how many Oscars she has?
Right. Yep.
She's in here.
Yeah.
Being a badass.
Yeah. Adding giving it street cred.
Yeah, in leather. Okay.
Yeah.
Kicking butt.
Right. All right. we got it.
Okay. All right. So that's why I think you see I guess the energy for this movie is like, oh wow, they really did that. Kate Blanchett, in this role. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, there it goes.
Which goes to show again, Kate Blanchett can do anything.
Sure. That's why she got the gold.
Yeah.
She can act.
Right.
So yeah, this movie's gonna do well, I feel. I'm stepping out there,
Going out on a limb.
Yeah.
All right. It's just how big, is it like 110 million or 120 or 100?
Yeah. So I think 100.
Yeah. So all right. I'm going 115 to 120. But tracking could be right. It could just be 110.
Yeah, we're not that far off there.
Yeah. It's just we're just debating how huge it's going to be.
Right.
Well,
So
we all know it's going to be huge.
Yeah, we both know it's going to be over 100. I think.
Yeah.
But it'd be surprising if it did less.
Right.
But yeah, there you go. All right. So Thor Ragnarok, how big will it be?
Yeah, and we'll see if Bad Moms Christmas or the Bad Moms franchise is it just one of those one-off things, or is there a franchise in there?
Yeah, we'll see if there's going to be Bad Moms Valentine's, Bad Moms Halloween. What else?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. Other Bad Moms, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Tune in next week.
All right.